the number one reason why you will either succeed or fail with your local business.
I'll come tomorrow. I will wait. I will wait.
So session 3 in my mini masterclass, the daily foot traffic multiplier method. Now, this one is hugely important. This is the number one reason that pretty much every client I talk to when they first come in looking for help with marketing, this is the reason why they don't have enough foot traffic. This right here, even if you do everything else perfectly and you're really technically savvy and you have a beautiful website, you have all the branding right, and you have all of the content plans in place, this will make or break your business. So pay close attention. Number 3 is actually the number one reason why you will either succeed or fail with your local business. So let's get into it. First and foremost, none of these concepts are, like I'm not reinventing the wheel here, okay? But the big thing with so many of my clients is that you can talk about, marketing and features and benefits and like how to do all this stuff, how to make things look attractive and how to get clicks, likes, and views. There are so many things that people talk about out there in terms of what you're selling, but we're missing a really, really big piece. And it's the reason why so many people struggle, especially to get foot traffic, right? So in today's day and age, getting someone to get off the couch and go into a physical location, we have even more challenges than we've ever had before. So first we have to think about the customer. Why is this so important? Well, here is the reality of customers these days. Social media has essentially trained everyone to expect to be constantly and instantly entertained. And they can literally find and buy anything on the internet without ever leaving their couch, right? Like they can order DoorDash, they can go on Amazon, they can get anything they want. So as consumers, I'm guilty of this too, okay? And I understand the psychology. Like we're disconnected. We are in more pain as consumers than we have ever been before because we have access to everything, but we are not really feeling a connection with anything. So the average person's collective memory and motivation is at an all-time low. So for example, 10 years ago, someone might have walked down the street, noticed, that a business was right there in their neighborhood or in their downtown. And if they were interested, they'd be like, hey, cool, that's a cool plant shop. That looks like a really interesting restaurant. I didn't know there was, a yoga studio right there. They would create a sort of a bookmark in their brain. And they were fairly likely to remember that your business was there in their neighborhood the next time they thought about what it was that you're selling, your product or service. So these days, what happens when someone wants something? Going straight to their phone, right? They don't even think about what might be available around the corner. So even if your business is out there in your community, their short attention span is making 90% of consumers just kind of skip right over it. They're not noticing you. This is why local businesses are invisible, because they're not even remembering you're there the second they're not right in front of you. And what I see most of my clients doing is this. As a business owner, they're still in the mindset that they can talk to their customers online and on social media and on all of these digital channels that are keeping everybody so bored and disconnected, the same way that they would talk to someone who would actually walk into their physical location. But we are missing a huge step when we do this, which is to have the customer be interested enough in your business to be drawn into a conversation about what you sell. So the biggest reason why marketing fails to drive foot traffic is that it actually has to get their attention. Okay. It's not easy. And we have to make them then feel connected to us as a business, which is even harder. That's never going to happen if what we are doing is talking about our products, our services, the features, benefits, discounts. Like if we're trying to prompt someone into getting off the couch and coming in physically, because consumers don't care about products, sales, supporting local, your specific mission as a business owner, or any of that. Okay. They only care about what is making their lives easier, more entertaining, and more comfortable. That is it. I know that's harsh. It's also the only way to actually get their attention, which is the only way to motivate them to come into your physical business in the first place. So that is the entire point of what I call the irresistible offer. Okay. It is the first step to increasing your sales and having your marketing work and creating that daily foot traffic multiplier in your business. The number one reason that marketing doesn't work is not because you're not in the right place or you don't know how to use Instagram or that your, branding isn't good enough, right? Like all those things that I talked about in the first two sessions. It's because you're not talking about what customers actually want. Now, I'm not talking here, this is important. I'm not talking about your merchandise or your menu or anything that you're actually selling. Because if you actually do have real customers who buy from you, when they're in person with you, then what you sell is not the problem. It's getting those customers in the door. It's getting their attention, making them want to come in the first place. We need more foot traffic, right? So the easiest and most foolproof way to do that is to have this irresistible offer. We're showcasing what a customer actually wants from your business, which is not what you sell. Okay. That is a bit of a nuanced concept that a lot of people they resist me on. But marketing is not sales. Marketing is motivation. Okay. You cannot talk about what you sell. You have to talk about what customers want. That is what makes your business unique and what makes them interested in coming in and buying from you. And we have to say it to them in a way that makes them want it. So this is honestly super simple, but it is the thing that most people struggle with the most. So once you acknowledge that the truth of what we're building here, this is the thing that makes your marketing work or not work. This is what drives foot traffic or keeps people away. This is how we make everything that you're doing in your business super effective and make sure that your foot traffic compounds. You have that daily foot traffic multiplier. So there's a lot of sales psychology that has gone into this, and we have to stop thinking about discounts or talking about what you sell as a way to bring customers in. Okay, so this is the most important thing you can do to make your business stand out with a super powerful, attractive, irresistible offer. It's not a discount, it's not a sale, it's not an event. It is something that puts your business in its own playing field, that is something that cannot get anywhere else. So you can keep using this on any platform, in any economy, because in addition to them, consumers being bored and apathetic and lazy, they don't care about discounts. They're not loyal to discounts. They're not buying because of discounts, and they are not going to keep coming back because of discounts. The only thing that a customer does with a discount is, if they were already planning to buy from you anyway, then they're going to take it, right? And that just erodes your profits. So when we're thinking about consumer mindset, when we're thinking about having a single irresistible offer, it is something that your business does better than anyone else in your community. And then you talk about it again and again and again. Or for me to get off my soapbox, right? This is the backbone of your entire business and marketing strategy. And that is what will ensure customers are buying from you, not from Amazon or Chili's or whatever's down the street, right? This is what companies that I talk to, if they're thriving, it's because they really understand this and they're offering their customers something truly irresistible. So it's not about offering discounts or being super salesy or anything like that. It's making sure that you understand what your customers really, really want. And then that is your whole marketing message. Okay, truly getting off my soapbox. I'm going to show you what we have to do to get this in place. And remember, like I said, this is pretty much where every business owner who is struggling this is what they're missing. It's that they're not talking about something that is irresistible to their ideal customer. So we have to do this from the customer's mindset, okay? We are not talking about products or services or what we think the customer needs. We have to talk about what they want and how then the function of it is how we provide it to them, not through products and services, but through the delivery of those products and services. So hopefully that nuance makes sense. So here's what we need to do to make sure that this piece of your marketing is in place, because I promise you, 100% of the business owners I talk to who don't have this in place, they're going to continue to struggle and not have enough foot traffic, and they're not going to have that daily foot traffic multiplier. So here's how this works. So as I'm going through this next section and showing you exactly what to do, I want you to think really intentionally about what your existing customers have said to you and why the ones who have come in and purchased now continue to come in and purchase. We have to utilize that to build a marketing strategy that makes your business stand out, which is not going to be talking about what you sell. It's about what is really, really important to your customers in their words. Okay, so here is what I mean when I'm talking about how to create an irresistible offer and how to do it in such a way that we are talking specifically to what I call your VIP customers. So there's another lesson, I'll add it as kind of a bonus to this mini masterclass, talking about different types of customers. We have, the detractors, those who are never going to become customers and who maybe don't like you in the first place. Every business has them. We don't care about them, right? Like, throw them out. It doesn't matter. Then there are the looky-loos. Those are the ones who are engaging with your social media content, for example. Likes, clicks, and views don't drive sales. And they're not buying. Or they're coming in and they're picking up everything in the store, and then they're saying, oh, I'll come back later maybe. Or like, it's so cute, but like they don't buy anything. Don't care about the looky-loos either. When we are talking about creating an irresistible offer and the psychology of sales, it's really, really important that we know who you're talking to. And who you're talking to are your VIP customers, the ones who do come in and they have a big purchase and they talk to their friends and they come back again and again. Every business also has these. So we have to understand what their mindset is. And it's really important, like you can see here again, it's same general idea as, up here where we're talking about types of marketing, and having a compound strategy that continues to get our business in front of customers and get it seen. When we're talking about your VIP customer, we have to have that same invisible fence drawn around them. And so there's a few things that are really, really important here. This is how you actually have your marketing work versus just continue spinning your wheels and trying more and more shiny objects and things like that. Okay, here's how we do this. Again, you have to really understand your VIP customer. I call this customer mind mapping. Okay, so it's not enough to just be like, oh, she's a woman in her 30s and she has kids and she lives in Denver. I live in Denver, so this is why I use that as an example a lot. We have to understand the psychology of this VIP. So and this is very important. It's not describing their demographics. It's describing how they think about all the different aspects of their life that kind of make them very interested in your business. So what do I mean by that? In their words, how do they think and talk about their lifestyle, their wants and needs, where they live, where your business is located? Is it their favorite neighborhood in the city? Other people, whether they're online or offline, who might sell the same thing. How do they feel about Amazon versus, being able to come in and buy from you, for example? What are their buying behaviors? Are they shopping based purely on price and discounts? I hope not, because that is more of a looky-loo than a VIP. But if they're a VIP and they're buying because they really love what you specifically are offering them, why are they buying from you? What is their buying behavior? Is it that they feel so taken care of that they're going to just support you forever? Is it that they're really interested in their local community and they want, downtown businesses to continue to be open and provide provide the types of experiences that they really want? So again, in their words, how are they choosing to buy from you versus someone else? The things that they love or they hate. Again, with my clients that I work with, one-to-one, we go deeply into like, what does this person really, really love about their lifestyle, themselves, their body, their family, their town? What do they hate about it? What do they need solved? If you literally do nothing with your marketing other than work off of this list of things that they love or things that they really don't love, then your marketing is going to stand out much more than any of the other kind of generic content that they're seeing from other competitors of your business. Same thing. How do they feel about their community? How do they feel about their selves and their interests? Now, when we're talking about putting this together into a message that makes your marketing work, very, very important. We need 4 things. Sorry, that was 5. 4 things. Sales psychology. Okay. This again is not saying things like shop local or come in today. Nobody wants to be told what to do. But if you say things in such a way that they feel seen and heard, the psychology of sales says that that message actually gets them to execute some of those buying behaviors. So instead of saying something like shop local, what you say is like voted the number 1 most viral burger restaurant, in Dallas or whatever. Like, that's terrible copy. I'm not a copywriter off the cuff. I have to sit down and kind of like noodle it out. Like a lot of people, right? Like when we go to execute these things, you're not just like vomiting words out of your mouth and hoping that they get people in the door, but you have to use sales psychology rather than just telling them to do something. It starts by understanding what makes you stand out. So going back to that irresistible offer, what is the one thing that they want that you give them? That's what we talk about. This is how we actually use sales psychology to get people off their couch and into your business. Okay, also really important, the words that your customers would actually use, not your words, their words. So the importance of doing this, the nuance here is when someone is scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, because of course they're on their phones and that's where they're seeing, any content, anything about your business, anyone else's business, they're sitting there and someone says something to them in a way that they would say it. What happens is they're not saying, oh, I wonder if I should find out more about this business. They're saying, oh, that sounds like me. They've just put themselves into like this personal experience of being already connected to your business. It is so powerful psychologically. Now, we're not trying to convince them that they should be interested. They're just immediately interested. Now they're down the rabbit hole of learning more, getting closer to having a buying behavior that gets them off their couch. Okay, so using the psychology of sales, all about the irresistible offer in their words. Super, super, super important. Okay, emotional and experiential content are also important here, right? Like, we are not describing what you sell. We're not describing services or products. We are describing what it feels like to be a part of your community, to be your customer. So it's different for every business. Like, and in past, kind of like marketing psychology, people talked about, features and benefits, right? Yes, that is still kind of what we're doing here. But again, very, very important in their words. It's not, oh, you're getting the benefit of having a really good haircut if you're a salon. It is literally the emotional experience of you time that lasts beyond being in the chair. Okay. Do you see the difference? Same with experiences. So like this can work for restaurants, for example. Like if you're showcasing how exciting it is to be part of your, I'm going to use a Denver restaurant that actually does a really good job marketing this particular aspect. And it's kind of a young kid situation, right? Like they're known for their ice shots. So, you ideally with friends, right? Because like obviously the more volume this business sells, the better they do. You line up a bunch of literally shot glasses made out of ice, take your shot, throw your shot at a giant iron bell that they have, and whoever gets the loudest ring out of your friend group gets a free shot. Okay, well, they just sold 10 shots, right? So like, again, I'm not saying that you have to like think about a gimmick for every business type that you have out there, but like from a consumer standpoint, if you are part of that young bar crowd and you are somebody who wants to go out and find a place to take shots, oh, I'm going there. Okay. So, but again, the way that they market it, it has nothing to do with like you have to buy 10 or anything. Like they're not talking about that. They're literally just showcasing customers that look like they're VIPs drinking with their friends, having fun, winning more. It's an emotional experience. So I want you to think about that for your business. And this is all tied back into their irresistible offer in this specific business's example, right? So the biggest thing that I want you to take away from this is that we need to make sure we understand our customers deeply. So sitting down, utilizing this diagram, thinking about who your true VIP customers are and how they think about every aspect of their lives and where their lives might connect with your business. And then making sure that we're putting that into psychology and words and emotions and experiences that give them the feeling of being connected to your business. You do that, you will have an actual daily foot traffic multiplier on your hands. If that is, central to everything else that you do with marketing, this literally makes or breaks your business. Getting the messaging right, having that irresistible offer in place that really perks customers up and gets their attention and it makes them emotional about your business. That is how you go from, wherever you're at today to 2, 3, 5, 10 times, multiplying your foot traffic daily. And it's compounding. It works over and over and over again over time to keep people talking about your business, coming back, reposting, creating their own content. And so this is super, super, super important. You have got to have your irresistible offer in place and know how to utilize it in your marketing if you want to have that foot traffic multiply. So again, make sure that you like and you follow and click into session number 4, where I'm going to show you how to utilize this irresistible offer and the sales psychology in your marketing and create that compound system that you can automate that multiplies your foot traffic daily over time so that you actually have a business that, continues to grow sales and make sense and get you towards your goals.